Hello, welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia. I'm your host, Jacob Rush, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Black, and we are back, and we're playing with Power, and Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2024. We are glad to be here. I don't know about where you guys live, but I actually got to wake up to a bit of maybe an inch and a half of snow outside for the first time this season. It's about about 2 weeks exactly late. But hey, that you know what? The holidays are over, so it only makes sense to snow now. So, I'm happy that to have some snow. But we'll be busy cleaning my house all day because of the winter break. It is a pit, and it's time to get out of the pit.
Mhm.
Ryan, how are you doing, man? Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you, man. Happy New Year to all of our listeners. Yeah, I'm doing great. Moving into the new year. So far, so good. Cautiously optimistic about the year. Definitely going to be a year of managing finances really carefully. Increases in insurance and everything, and medical bills and procedures coming up. We got to be careful with that. But I'm looking forward to just like finding the joy that in this year that isn't necessarily related to money. Like we can
Nice.
hang out and we can do things and we can, play card games that we have and we can
Yeah.
go to events and we don't have to do things that cost money because that's kind of a big thing. Like we're not going to have a lot of that. So it'd be nice
Right.
to just go and do events and create and build community. Whereas we don't have a whole lot of friends right now. And so if we can go to new places and meet with people and make friendships and stuff, I think that would be long lasting, even beyond what we can afford and purchase and stuff like that. So,
Cool, man. Cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, Ryan and I decided that we wanted to we will continue on with our journey with Mario. After this week, we wanted to really just kind of do an episode. We haven't done really just a regular episode. I know the last one we did was Christmas themed, but this one we just want to do an episode, have a topic, and talk about it, and kind of just catch up with each other and everyone. And then next week we'll continue on with our deep dive of Super Mario World. So let's talk about what we have been radical rexing about. Okay, Ryan, why don't you
oh
go
man,
ahead? Go ahead, yeah. Tell me what
gosh,
has
I'm
got you
rusty on this
excited.
segment. It's been a while. So let's see. Christmas happened.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. Um, so gosh, uh, um, not a lot of video game stuff, and even then, the stuff that I got was like so-so as far as like actual video games. But Draco custom made me a Anarchy outfit. Um, Got me like the bracelets, the spike bracelets, and the blue T-shirt. And he made it on his Cricut, did the vinyl printing. And he got me the blue Anarchy shirt outfit from Splatoon 3.
Nice.
So that was really cool to have that, some Anarchy gear. I've always kind of wanted that clothing line. It's pretty cool. So
Huh.
yeah, looking forward to that. Like trying that on and sporting the Splatoon look. Let's see, what else did we do? As far as video games go, I requested a couple video games on my wish list. I One was a personal one to Draco, and he got me Disney Dreamlight Valley with all the expansion stuff. So I've been enjoying that. It's basically an Animal Crossing, but Disney.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very chill game, but it's cool. Unlocking Disney characters and going through the Animal Crossing motions of cleaning up your town and building things
Huh.
and getting new items for decorate your characters and your houses and things like that. It's fun. I'm definitely enjoying the references to the Disney character, and it has its own self-contained story. And you're interacting with some of those older Disney characters, but also the newer ones too, like Frozen, and you've got Scrooge McDuck and Donald and Goofy, of course, and
Yeah.
you've got Anna and Elsa and Jack from The Night Before Christmas and Vanellope von Sweets from Wreck-It Ralph and those characters. It's pretty cool to have
Yeah.
them all in
That
one
is.
place, like interacting with them like you're our Animal Crossing villagers. So
Yeah.
definitely a cool game. And then I got Hogwarts Legacy for Christmas, but the I don't. I guess my sister had ordered it on Amazon for my mom, and somehow they got the UK version. So I'm trying to get that switched out for the US version before I start playing it. Just because the DLC codes would have to be used on a UK shop, and I used to have a UK account, but I just wanted it kind of on my own account, and I wanted to connect my actual Pottermore account to it. So it would be kind of weird to try to do the UK thing. It'd be easier for if it was US. Otherwise, I'd totally just play the the UK version because there's cross plays or you can play. It's not region specific, but um, and then I got Pikmin 1 and 2, which I'm probably going to exchange out for something else. I don't know what yet. But I mean, I have Pikmin 2 on GameCube, and I think I have Pikmin 1 and possibly Pikmin 2 on I want to say like Wii U or something like that.
Hmm.
I'm not even sure what I have it on, or maybe it was the Wii when they did the redos. But I put it on my wish list just as a like, if you can't find Pikmin 4, like, do that one and or I might get Wario or something. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but not a lot of not video games, but definitely some really cool things like that. Got into Disney Lorcana. Got some more sets and things. I did that all nighter at Gen Con last year
Yeah.
to get the first set, and I'm really glad I did because it was like impossible to find. And so now we've got some of the new set, and we're thinking about playing. We found a couple of places in our friendly local game stores that are playing Lorcana events and things. So we're thinking about getting plugged into that community and playing some Disney Lorcana card game. Yeah. Let's see. I was able to get a couple movies. I got the two Spider-Man Spider-Verse movies.
Hmm.
It was a collection of the two of them, so that was pretty cool. I'm looking forward to watching those. Also got the D&D movie. I haven't seen that one yet, but I definitely am looking forward to watching that one. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of like huge gifts, but definitely like it was very, very cozy.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me. Like I don't have to have these huge things. Like, yeah, do I need a new computer? Like, yeah, but like I don't like really. That's not something that I would have wanted. I wanted the like more personal stuff, like what Draco made for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I know I've got some Squishmallows here or there. So I got Steamboat Willie, uh, uh, Squishable or Squishmallow, sorry. And I got a pillow pet, my first pillow pet. It was the capybara from Encanto.
Hmm.
So I've been needing a flatter pillow, and so that's been really helping me sleep at night. So yeah, just fun things that are also functional. I really really enjoy those. But yeah, it's been a pretty good holiday overall.
Good.
I just hope that we can continue on that joy in this new year. I know like we've got a lot to look forward to. Um, and I'm kind of curious, Jacob, how did yours fare? How did your whole what are you radical excited about?
Yeah, I mean, my Christmas break overall was pretty dang good. Christmas was great. I got a handful of good things. Very blessed. Got some eShop money, and I even got some PlayStation online money, which is a new
Cool.
for me. And I ended up game wise, I got Mario RPG. I bought the Jurassic World Park collection finally.
Good. Hope that's good.
Yeah, yeah, it is great. I bought. And I bought Final Fantasy remakes 7 remake on the PS5, like the
Cool.
PS5 version. So there's like it's got a different name to it, where it's got like a DLC to it. It's not just called Final Fantasy 7 remake. I can't.
Intergrade.
Yeah, integrate. That's it. Yes, and it's definitely a different type of Christmas for me. I'm playing RPGs and just loving it. So like I've been going back and forth between Mario RPG and Final Fantasy. The thing about Final Fantasy is I really only like to play. I don't like to play it when my kids are home or
Yeah,
even when
it's
the
a little bit
wife's
more
home.
gritty.
Well, not that it's just gritty. It's just that I don't like to play it because it's like a freaking movie, man. It's like a freaking
Yeah, you don't want to get
movie.
distractions.
No, like I was trying to play it over break, and my wife and stepdaughter came home, and they came into the room I was in, and they're talking, they're on their phones, and they're laughing, and my daughter's playing some silly game on her phone, and it's loud. I'm just like, I can't even hear what they're saying during these cutscenes. I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
and I just stopped and switched over to Mario RPG, which is definitely fun. I've played most of that game handheld.
Mhm.
I did get this cool Switch portable thing I asked for, and it's in the colors of GameCube, so it's like a giant indigo GameCube casing around my Switch.
Cool.
And the controllers are like on the side, and the buttons and joysticks are the same colors of what the GameCube is. So I feel like I'm playing a portable GameCube,
Cool.
which is really cool, nice. I've really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. But I've just played the crap out of those two games mostly. Oh, I also got Batman Arkham Trilogy. I
Good.
got it because I never played the first or the third, so I eventually plan
Yeah.
on. The one I'm most excited about is actually the first because I remember back in the day when
Hmm.
that came out, and this
So
was the
wanted to play that.
era. Yeah, this was the era that Nintendo got no third party support, so it was a dream to even think that it would come to Nintendo. So I've always wanted to play that one. I have played City, and
That was a good one on Wii
I
U.
played Origins. Yeah, oh yeah. When Jack's been playing City, and it's just like coming back to me. That I think it was like 2013. I got that for Christmas, and
About
uh,
that.
for for Wii U, and like that was my obsession. I loved that game.
Yeah.
So, really cool to have those games. Oh, I've almost beaten RPG. I'm right outside Smithy. I'm about halfway through set Final Fantasy VII. Um,
Cool.
and I think I'm OP in my RPG because
Yeah.
no enemy's a challenge for me. Like
Yeah.
well, I have like done what I hate. I just keep grinding. I like literally we'll just
Yeah.
I feel like it's easier to upgrade, like to get to the next level in this. It's not like Pokemon where like you get like a little bit like you can fight a Pokemon, then you get like two experience points. If you like, you know how like the stronger you get, the less experience. This game is
Yeah.
it's pretty even across the board. It's like random. You can get like 8, and you can get 35, and the whole team upgrades as you go. So I feel like I'm really every time like I just fought the dragon boss last night.
Yeah.
Spoilers, he's in the volcano, and I mean, I didn't die one time, and I beat it probably less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And from my memory in the original Mario RPG game, that was a tough battle. Like,
Yeah.
it's got two parts to it. You think you win, and then he comes back for part two, and it's even has more health than before. So, um, so I've really just really enjoyed those. Like I said, it's tough because the game I like playing the most is Final Fantasy VII, and like, but like I won't boot it up if I know like, oh, the kids are home and like the Jack.
Hmm.
Like last night I tried to play it, and exactly what happened. Like it's bittersweet because my son wants to sit and watch. Oh, this is awesome, Dad. And then, but the whole time he's just wanting to take the controller from me, and he wants to play. He wants his own
Yeah.
file, and I'm just like, buddy, no, I'm playing right now. Like you get to play all the time.
Hmm.
But one fun game I did get to do. We did this over New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve for us is really just tiny now. I mean, we really don't do anything. We just kind of have the family together and wait for the ball drop and kill time. And we did have Traven join us this year. He came over and he brought his
Awesome.
mini games. I think we played it at our Christmas party, but it's this game on Switch, which is a collection of like if you have like an iPad or an iPhone, you play games. They always, are you see them maybe even on YouTube. It's just like these stupid cheap little games where like you move the
Yeah.
pins
I
and like
bought that game from watching
oh
Traven
yeah. So
play
you
it.
know what I'm talking about. We
Yeah.
bought that, and we played that.
Those games.
We played that on Switch on New Year's Eve, and like the kids really love it. The kids think it's fun, and they think it's cool to try to overcome these obstacles. It's simple, it's sweet, and so it was really fun. Unexpected. That's an unexpected game. That's just like, oh yeah, you know, like on my own, I really wouldn't think about getting it, but because of the kids, that's a game that was kind of presented, and I think that's cool. So,
Yeah.
um, but besides that, we welcomed in the new year. New Year's been going, it's going good. We
Good.
we did unfortunately have to put our cat down this week. That wasn't
Yeah. Heard
really
about that.
yeah, that wasn't a
Sorry, man.
It's anti-radical rexing there. It was an emotional week. It
Yeah,
was my wife's cat before we got married, so the cat had really just been with her since a kitten and had just been through so many like personal journeys with my wife. And of
yeah,
course, I've gotten to be in the cat's life for the last 4 years, 3.5 to 4 years now. And, it was hard. It was hard and hard because
yeah.
Lindsay was really hurt and was crying for her. And, I've never had to put an animal down before. So it was quite a sad experience to do.
It's very tough, especially like, like it's it's kind of like the responsibility of like the person, like unless you're getting cremated, like it's the responsibility of like us to like bury the pet, and that's the hardest thing because like you're putting in so much like physical strain, and you're especially like we had to bury our last cat that passed in the middle of in the dead of winter, and it was hard to get through the ground because it was
Yeah.
frozen, and but it was just like you have to do that, and it's like a paying your respects to the loved ones and the memories that they've given us, and give them a good resting place.
Yeah.
It's just really special. I totally get where you're coming from there. Yeah, it's not an easy time for sure.
Yeah, it's weird just like walking around the house and like knowing where she would normally be or like
Yeah,
I know she's not here, but like I sometimes feel like I see something and it makes me visualize her like for a split second.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
and
saw she was black and white, so and she would always jump on the sink in our vanity sink for
mhm.
water. And there was like a black and white shirt on, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw it, and I just like that's exactly where she would have landed and been waiting. And I just like I don't know. I mean, I know she's not there, but like a split second, like we have another cat, and I've seen the other cat, like, and it makes me, I don't know, imagine the other cat that passed
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
Yeah, little things like that. But outside of that, I'm back at work. Things are rolling. It's definitely time to get in shape. I mean, I've already set
yeah.
three. I've set like two start dates and have failed each time. So I was gonna start the new year and then nope, that didn't happen. And then I was like, well, I'll just start when I go back to school. I'm going back to school on Thursday. But then everything with my cat happened. So
Yeah,
we went out and got ice cream and ordered we like we do what we do when we're depressed. We eat good food. So
yeah.
we got a bunch of pizza and then really like there's just I mean I got a book of excuses for you. I've just got to start it. But
Hmm.
now it's the weekend with the kids and snowed and it's just kind of like, well, I don't start exercising until Monday. So I think I'll just roll out this weekend and then start Monday and finally get this body back in gear.
Hmm.
So, with all that said, I know we've got a topic to talk about. We Radical Rex a long time. Sorry, folks.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while since we've done that with them. We don't Radical Rex really during the Mario deep dive episodes. So, the topic today, Ryan and I, we really just kind of wanted to take a look back at Nintendo over 2023, and we want to see where we're going to talk about where we think Nintendo is going in 2024. So, here we go. Ryan, why don't you can start us off? Let's take a look back at 2023 first. 2023,
Yeah,
we were not present as a podcast for really over half of it. We've only been here for like the last quarter, if that. And man, stuff did happen while we were gone. Take us
yeah.
through a rundown of some highlights.
The beginning of the year was slower for me, and Nintendo like came out of nowhere with your Metroid Prime. That's a big highlight for me. Like,
Wow.
Nintendo bringing back things that are just things you didn't think you'd see anytime soon. Like we were all expecting Metroid Prime 4 to be announced or something, which still hasn't, by the way.
Yeah,
Begin to wonder if it exists even. But they're digging out some older stuff.
it does.
They announced some GameCube remasters coming to the Switch, which is cool. We might see some more. Be neat. But it's kind of foreshadowing what we heard earlier in the year. But Nintendo, I feel like they've been playing it safe, but also like giving us a lot of the things that we want.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, I don't think that Nintendo is short on any content whatsoever. Like, we've heard rumors that Metroid Prime remaster was like greenlit like a couple of years ago, and they're just waiting to release it. Sitting in their vault, ready to go out
Yeah,
whenever they greenlight it. So, we might get two, we might get three. Just
that'd be
shadow
sweet.
dropped this year.
That would be sweet. I feel like that Prime drop, the first Metroid Prime drop, was kind of like, I don't know, and the progress of their game of four coming, it was like the first notch. Like the first notch has fallen, so it's like a milestone. And then I feel like they're going to drop two, and then they're going to drop three. Like it's going to get closer and closer, and then we get to the big dog that we've been waiting for.
Yeah. I hope it comes soon. Anyway, sorry, I want a Metroid kick right now.
No, yeah, I trust me, I am. I watched this. He's never been on the show, but I like to listen to the Geek Critique, and he has a YouTube channel and Patreon and stuff, and he has done. So he back like 6 years ago when I first got into podcasting and listening and stuff, he was doing a deep. He played the Metroid series for the first time ever. He had always ignored it, never really got into it. And then he decided to actually like really play it game by game. And at this time, Metroid Dread didn't even was not known to the public eyes. As a matter of fact, at the tail end of his videos, Metroid 2 remake had just launched, and so he ended up coming back and doing a remake episode about that. And so he went really deep dive into Metroid, and then every game, every video he did, I thought was just a masterpiece, and I was so deep into invested into these videos because they're like 40 minutes to an hour long. Like
Yeah.
they were really thought out. And then Dread didn't happen. So yeah, at this point, yeah. So he kind of stopped. He covered Prime. He covered all the main 2D games, just the way the franchise was going. And then he came back and he did like a retrospective where he did a retake comparing his original videos, and he actually like criticized some of his views and takes on what he said in the first ones, which I don't really agree with. Honestly, I actually think he did a fantastic job with those first videos, but
Mm-hmm.
he these videos besides the very first one and last one, those are long, but the in betweens covering the other games are pretty short, like maybe 10 minutes or so. Just a recap of them, and then he just did Dread, and and that was like an hour and a half, and I watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I mean, honestly, I really was fighting the urge to like not go and restart a new file on Dread after watching that
Yeah.
video because I'm
Yeah.
like, I got all these new games, I need to play new stuff, not a game I've already beaten twice. But it really, really made me just crave some Metroid, man. I mean, I love
Yeah.
that series, and if you guys haven't seen those videos, go watch the Geek Critique on his Metroid takes. They're fantastic, but I'm itching for
Uh,
Metroid.
yeah. So get us back on our path for 2023, or the first half anyway.
Yeah, that was all the Metroid we got.
We had Dragon Ball Kakarot released on the Switch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which was forgotten, something that Jacob was really hoping would come to the Switch, and now he's got a PS5. It doesn't even matter, so he can get it anywhere. But
Yeah.
there's the Digimon World game that I wanted to come to Switch. Tales of Symphonia, one of my all-time favorite games, came to Switch. So it's like I've been averaging about all-time favorite game a year coming onto the Switch, like port, like
Yeah.
randomly. So that's been pretty cool. And yeah, it wasn't the greatest port, but it was still the game. Like you got to enjoy it. You got Metroid Prime, of course, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out, big one.
Yep.
And of course the DLC and stuff for that. You had a Kirby's Return to Dreamland kind of port. It was a Wii port, so I'm
Oh
glad they're doing
yeah,
those
you're
ports,
right.
those
Yes.
games.
Wow, forgot about
Um,
that one.
and we saw Fatal Frame make a comeback with another entry. So Nintendo's keeping that going. And there's that that Cereza game for Bayonetta. It was supposed to be pretty good standalone. Like it's I don't know, it's a different flavor from what Bayonetta is, and a lot more of the I guess modest version of Bayonetta from what I
Yeah,
hear.
more of a kid
So
version.
mhm. um, and then moving in, I'm kind of looking into April. There was a couple of games here that like with the Advanced Wars 1 and 2 finally released after the whole war thing happened. Or it was happening. The developing they delayed that, but then they also brought like a Mega Man Battle Network collection over. So we saw a lot of collections and ports and remakes in that
Yeah,
first half of the year. And of course, May was the big one. Tears of the Kingdom came out.
yeah.
And the release schedule that month was pretty bare for a lot of games because that was the big one. Like no one wanted to be in the same window as the Tears of the Kingdom, and that took up a lot of our time. Even then, June there wasn't a whole lot coming out of June.
No, no. Well, they definitely got away with that game. I mean, that game was so massive, so they could afford to
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. Really, July is when things started coming back in. Nintendo even continued with their schedule. They released Pikmin 4. Hogwarts Legacy came out in July. So we had some like DLC stuff here or there. Um, Season passes were released. Sparks of Hope, Bat and Kaitos was released with the GameCube remaster, done by a third party, but still it's something that did come out. Um,
Pikmin 4.
and Yep, we got a couple of like those farming simulators like Fae Farm that came out around that time. Of course, the Disney Dreamlight Valley. And then we've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which of course just wrapped up. They finished up that stuff. Um, so that's just in the first half of the year. They kept us pretty busy, a lot with like just keeping us updated on current content and re-releases. And that's really a good place to be in the beginning of the year. Not a lot of new exciting things like announced, but
Yeah.
something to keep us interested. Like this year, we got a port coming of Mario and versus Donkey Kong. We've got
How's
a
it you
new
do?
IP with Peach. It's a new experimental like Peach game. And there's some other things here or there that we're seeing kind of those similar things. Perhaps the Kirby's Return to Dreamland, if it's that Mario versus Donkey Kong slot, kind of that parallel there. But we don't know a lot about what the bigger games are going to be, other than like we're going to sit on a good RPG with Mario RPG. We have Mario RPG, and then we have Mario's. I guess probably in the same slot this next year is probably going to be the Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, I think that's going to come early in the year, though. Like, that's not going to, I think that's going to be like around March or April or something like that.
Okay, and that would be great. Like I'm excited to play that because I've been trying to get a hold of a copy to play it, and my disc on my Wii U or my Wii wasn't going to play the GameCube games.
Then I
So
let
I've
you
been
borrow
like,
my
what would I do?
copy. Don't you have
Yep,
my
I still have
copy?
it. Yep, I do. I sure do. If you want to get back to it before, like, go ahead. But
No, no, I'm
um,
totally saving it for
yeah,
uh, the actual game.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, so let's kind of, I guess, is there anything you want to talk about in the first half there?
I mean, I think you kind of covered most of the year of all the games that came out of 2023. But I would like to talk about maybe Nintendo's directs and their directions that they took as a whole. Like, obviously, we're not breaking the individuals down. I think because we're getting close to direct season again. It's February. Almost once we hit February, all the rumors are going to freaking roll out. Like everyone knows what is happening, and they really don't. But we should get a Nintendo Direct probably the first part of this year here soon, the Winter Direct, and if things continue to go the normal trend. I think last year though, like wasn't there a Direct that pretty much was just farm simulators, like almost 90% of it?
It may have been just something like an indie direct or something. Maybe
No,
it
it
was
was a
kind of a
big one.
combination of directs because, like, I know February is when they have their start of year direct for
Yeah.
Nintendo, so
And
it
that's
could have
where we
been
got.
that February
And
one.
Prime dropped day and date when they did that. They shadow dropped it. That was like mind blowing.
It was like digital, and then like 2 weeks later you could get the physical.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I double dipped for sure.
I should have because my son lost my card anyways, and now I need to buy the digital. But
Mm.
yeah,
They
it's
still have
so
physical in store.
I know they do. I know they do. It's just a
Just don't
matter
want to
of
lose it again.
well, yeah, I mean, I already lost it once and I don't know. It's $40 for a game that I just played. And I mean, I know I'll want it again. I'm just kind of like waiting until I don't know. I feel like I can afford to just drop $40 on a random game that I technically already beat just
Yeah.
recently. So, I mean, direct wise, we got a direct, and I think we get about annual like three big directs a year now. It kind of feels like start, middle, end.
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mid year to keep us going, and then the end of the year wrap up with some teasers to the new stuff in the new
Sometimes they
year.
have indies, and sometimes they have like maybe a special look at a game stuff. But in general, the three big directs um, we had, and I mean, we had more than just directs to flush us out through the year. I mean, Mario hit the theaters this year at like kind of
Yes.
like the start of the year almost, right? Wasn't that in March or something like that?
Uh, maybe I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I think it was a little later than March, but oh man, was it so cool to see Mario on the big screen? And like that was just part of a multi Nintendo initiative. They brought out their park in the states. They're working on that, or they rolled out their Japan one. They announced a Donkey Kong expansion for the Japan one, and they're doing their multimedia where they have theme parks and they have movies, and they announced a new Zelda movie that's going to be coming live action, and just a lot of really cool things to look forward to. That's more than just video games for Nintendo, which is great. They've always had like paraphernalia. It'd be cool if we got some like obscure IP like paraphernalia, like shirts and keychains and
Came out
things. Like
April
it'd be cool
5th.
if we got some of those. But
April 5th.
okay,
Yeah, Nintendo has just they're in the atmosphere of pop culture, like not just as a video game anymore. The movies did well. Zelda got announced for a live action Zelda. We also, like you said, the theme parks, they're really pushing the Donkey Kong addition to the theme parks that have already existed. It's been in the works, and that's supposed to launch in Japan this year. And I think I think the Orlando version of Hollywood Studios or whatever is finally building their Nintendo section. So and that's going to open up in the near future, which will be great. The other one's in California, so and it'll be bigger. Everything that's in like Florida state is they're bigger parks than the California ones, correct? I'm pretty
yes,
sure
it's
they
as
are.
general rule. Um, Disney's has Disneyland and the parks there are smaller than what's in the world. Um,
Yeah.
so as a general rule, that's usually the case where you have it bigger in the Florida region than you do over there. I don't know if it's just cost is a little bit more effective or if there's just not as much land available. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Probably less land in California is what I would assume. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. But yeah, so Nintendo was just in the atmosphere and they really stayed in everyone's mind, whether it was through video games or not. And at the end of the day, it's what their initiative was way back. I mean, Iwata was saying that they wanted their IPs to be in everything else to bring people back to buying their games more. And I think the strategy so far is working as long as those other products are executed well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I will say one big thing that happened this year, which really kind of killed it officially, in my opinion, was Nintendo was signed up to be a part of E3's digital events originally, and then they did pull out. And then once they pulled out, everyone else seemed to pull out. And it E3 didn't happen, and E3 is now officially dead. I mean,
Yeah, it's gone.
E3 is not going to come back. I mean, in today's day and age, there's no need for it when companies can save
Yeah,
literally thousands of dollars by just doing it themselves. Like
yeah, hundreds of
really,
thousands even.
it never made honestly, it never made sense. I was honestly surprised why they still did it over the past handful of years, even before 2020, just because of the digital age we live in. And Nintendo pretty much they started the trend to kill it when they stopped doing live. Remember how everyone
They
said
did
they
their
were done?
directs.
Yeah, they said they were so dumb. Everyone said they were dumb for not doing stage presence. Nintendo's always
Yeah,
this weird people. They're doing their own thing, and then here they go again, setting the trend, and now everyone follows them and copies them and does their own live directs, and
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
everyone's fighting for attention digitally, and I'm sad to see it go. What I'm more sad is that we really looked for. I mean, that was like a mid-year Christmas for us, as and our
Yeah.
friends, as like we got to sit down and talk, and like we would all be off work, we would plan it, we would get a bunch of garbage food and just watch the direct. Like I think like really the last great direct we did was when they announced Metroid Dread, and I remember just all of us in that room watching it unfold, and it was just mind blowing. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I miss that. I really do miss that. And I finally have a job that's set up to where I'm off in the summers, and it's just like, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, in the past, it was always a worry or a fear that like my work was not going to let me have this day off. And before that, I was like, Nintendo would always wait like way too long to like announce when they were doing their stuff. I still wish they would just like announce it like, hey, is at the start of June and like advertise it, make it a big deal, and like, on June 30th we're having our direct. I wish they would do that. That would be freaking awesome. But yeah, how do you feel about a world without E3 now? I know, really, I mean, honestly, it's kind of felt like it's been dead and not around for
Yeah.
since COVID. But I mean, how do you feel about it officially being gone?
I've long lost my desire to go to it. And when I lost that desire to go to it, like
Yeah,
I didn't really care too much because like we got our content from Nintendo already. Um, I didn't feel like it was necessary.
yeah,
Yeah, would I like to go to a booth and see Nintendo's really awesome sculptures in the world they've created for that theme for that year? Yeah, but they've got Nintendo's, their in-person event that they started doing, the Nintendo Live or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah,
And I know that they unfortunately had to cancel the one in Japan due to safety reasons that people were threatening with violence and guns and things like that.
weird.
So they had to cancel that event and postpone their tournaments and stuff. So like it was unfortunate, and I hope we do continue to see Nintendo Live, you know, go and continue to do its thing. Whatever this threat thing was, they get it under control or get it sorted out so that they can continue on these things. Because like I would like for us to have things like Space World where we can go to Nintendo
Yes.
specific events and go there and not to pay like absorbent amounts of money just to go see all these other things that we may not care about as much, and just be like exclusively Nintendo, like, and get all the latest stuff and celebrate Nintendo. And that's something that we've been wanting and we wanted to keep happening, is just be
Yeah.
able to celebrate Nintendo as a whole, as Nintendo fans, and have an event that we can go to. I think this also speaks to their want to keep multimedia and to, like, you got theme parks, you got events, in-person live events that's exclusive, like the Space World stuff they used to do. Like, I think this is where Nintendo should be. And I like that they're keeping it family focused. But I just,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're continuing this part of it too, the in-person. So there's always a hope that we'll be able to do something in-person Nintendo related in the future. We can plan a trip to go all together, and we still have that thing that we can do. I just hope that Nintendo does, again, announce it, and it's something that we all can participate in, even if we can't drive there or fly there. Like, we can go into a digital event and share in that excitement with everybody.
Yeah, that would be a dream come true one day, honestly. It's really kind of ironic and funny how, like, honestly, when Nintendo's at their weakest, I feel like this camaraderie of coming together and celebrating Nintendo is prioritized by Nintendo and a lot stronger when Nintendo's not sitting at the top of the hill. Like, they've been at the top of the hill since the Switch. But like before that, like our get-togethers, even this podcast, it was all born out of like I remember starting this podcast because I always got sick of the narrative of, oh, Nintendo's sucks. They're just for kids. And they should just go third party and make games for Xbox and PlayStation. And that was the
Mm-hmm.
narrative. Like, oh, they're never going to bounce back from the Wii U. They're washed up. And I just got so frustrated with that. And it was looking at their legacy and what they've accomplished really brought us together, and I find that so fun. And when they're at the top, I really feel like the celebration is not focused on by Nintendo themselves, which honestly, I mean, I guess that's the strategy, right? When we're weak, don't forget how good we have been. When we're on top, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on how great we are right now. So I guess it's a positive, that they're doing so great in the world that we don't have to rely on these get-togethers and things of celebrating what we're nostalgic for. But
Yeah.
um, so overall, I think 2023 was again, it was a strong year. I think this is a great way to segue into 2024. We wanted to talk about this, what we expect, and 2024. The debate is still the same as what it was going into 2023. Will this be the year Switch successor is announced, shown off? Does it release this year? I know our own group is pretty diverse on what we think will actually happen. And but this was the same conversation happening last year too. I remember this happening, and everyone thought 2023 we would see some kind of teaser, some kind of trailer.
Hmm.
And it didn't happen. And Nintendo proved the issue is they've done such a great job. I guess such a good issue to have. They've done such a great job at keeping us fed with content. And like
Hmm.
you already mentioned, going into 2024, we've already got a slew of games for Switch that is going to keep us eating, and
Yeah.
like it makes you not feel like you need a new console. Usually at the end of a system's life, it's dry bones, like at the end of the 64, like we got Paper Mario out of the blue, and then that was it. And you're just kind of twiddling your thumbs, waiting for information, waiting for the next console to come and games. And
Yeah.
same at the end of every lifespan. That's always happened, except for now. And now it's like we're still eating good, which makes me feel like that. And I'm pretty sure. I think this would be smart, and I would honestly be a bit upset if Nintendo veers away. We talked about how they changed with the times and they're getting more advanced. Um, I think it's a bit dumb to like start from scratch and let's just create a whole new system at this point that is just completely different than the old, which is annoyingly sad because like I always loved a new face, a new generation, a new costume for my system. I do love that
Hmm.
about Nintendo. However, I do feel like in today's day and age, and Apple set the standard, and I think Apple's getting a little stale with their products all look exactly the same year after year. And I'm not saying that this has to stay the same, but I think the concept should stay the same.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo should never, at least in this era, should never veer away from having a some kind of tablet screen that can dock to a television and can be played on the go. I don't think that they should ever veer away from that. I think that the insides of the tablet need to be better high tech. Next generation can do more stuff, but overall, I think it needs to feel the same as how Switch has felt because I feel like that makes consumers don't feel like they're so out of date. People still have older cell phones. They're not everyone is buying the newest iPhone every year that comes out.
Hmm.
And I think it makes it easier. It should make it easier to make games like I don't know, a lesser ported version of a newer game to the old systems and vice versa. So, I mean, I am no techie, so don't
Yeah.
come at me
I
with
mean,
that. But I think that they should continue with that model personally. Yeah.
you kind of hinted at it though, like, Apple becoming stale. Like, I'm worried that Nintendo will get in this rut and become stale if they don't innovate and go outside of the box. But also, I think they should stay in this pocket where it's portable and, tablet like for now. But what does innovation look like for Switch in the future, for Nintendo in the future? What are we going to see? Are we going to go into AR and VR, and or if that's not
I don't think
accessible, like what are they going to do?
I don't think Nintendo will do honestly, Ryan. I think VR for Nintendo is out of the question for the next 10 to 20
Uh,
years.
I would say unless they have something like the Wii, where it revolutionized how people game in a gaming space, I don't think they're going to do that. Like, unless they have something that is like it works better. Like now we've got shadow imitations. Like the Wii U had some movement. Like the Joy Cons have some motion, but it was nothing compared to what the Wii could do. The Wii did it perfectly. Even with the Wii Motion Plus, they added on to it. They made it better, but like the Wii had motion down, and so we would need something from Nintendo that would make VR like the perfect immersive experience to feel like you're actually in those worlds.
Uh huh.
And I don't think the technology is there. No, but Nintendo also has proved like, hey, they are able to take old tech and experimental tech and put it in their systems, make it
Right.
affordable, and revolutionize the industry. So I think that it's definitely a possibility that we could see that happen. But I want them to continue on the iteration with Switch? Yes. I still want the Switch line of things. What if, Switch is their dedicated console, and then they have a third one that's just the experimental, like with the new ways to experience play. Like instead of having a handheld and a home console, they have a handheld hybrid, or you have okay, you're in your living space, you're experiencing these things in a new way. It's a home console, but it's really something different in that you can only get that experience at home, but maybe some way to share it with friends or family. Like, I can see them innovated in some way to make that special in the Nintendo way.
I could see that happening down the line. I certainly don't think the next iteration that we're getting will do that. I do think
Definitely
it's going
not.
to be
No.
more of what we have. Um, and what I don't even need, like, I want the concept to stay the same, but what I want, and this is what I have. I just got a new iPhone this year. We switched people, and they gave us a new iPhone.
Mhm.
What I hate about Apple right now is that this feels like the same freaking phone I got when it was 2014. And
Mhm.
yeah, I know it's faster or whatever. I don't care about that. I mean, I do care about it. That's why I get this. But if they all they would have to do, it can do the same thing. All they have to do, Ryan, is just I don't know, give me a clamp down. Let me fold this down like a Game Boy Advance SP. I see the
Mhm.
the Android phones doing that now, and lots of kids have it. And I think it's so awesome, and I would totally get that over this flat, sleek looking brick phone, and get something like that because I just it's different, I feel like
Yeah.
things need to every time a Pokemon evolves, it doesn't look like the Pokemon before. It changes into something new, and I feel like with technology it should do that. Keep the concept and increase the tech. I still want a hybrid type system with Nintendo, but I don't know. Maybe there's a way to get a clamshell switch thing and it switches open and still connects. Who knows? I don't know. And most likely, if I had to put money down, I think it's going to look the same with better Joy-Con controllers and better insides. That's what I think is going to happen. But I don't know.
Yeah. Personally, I'd like to get away from the box as much as I can and do AR, where I can do my tasks and stuff with a HUD view, an overlay over my glasses or what have you,
Like
and
the
be able to do my
Apple
tasks, play
thing.
my games. Yeah, kind of like the Google Lens or something, but just something a little bit more functional that makes daily tasks where you're not staring at a screen. Like you have it in your HUD view, and you could like look up your email really quickly, but you're not. It's not obstructing your field of view. But you can do things like you're just not going to be glued. You'll have hands free basically. Be able to interact with your phone, whether it's with eye motion or voice command, whatever. Like again, there's a lot of technology things that they have to
It'll
figure out,
get there.
but I'd like to see something like that where we get away from the boxes and and go into a more seamless experience
Well,
where we're in our environments more.
I could see that one day, um, that being the main system, and then like the substitutes are actual like box style systems where you can purchase the
Yeah,
tablet and attach it, and that's how funny will that be if that's like, oh, this is the $150 option here, and
yeah,
I mean, I definitely think I do. I mean, the technology is getting there. You are right.
yeah.
Again, I don't think that's the next iteration. I think that's 20 years from now, honestly. I mean, I'll be in my 50s by
I
then.
don't know. The the technology leaps have been a lot more uh, great lately, so I think we could probably see it in 10 years, if even
I
that.
mean,
So
fingers crossed. I think that'd be freaking sweet. We'll see. But, um, so I could even see Nintendo like creating like they still have a Switch type system, and then they have a kind of like how PlayStation's done it. Like they'll just have an entirely dedicated like this is a virtual reality Nintendo system. This is not the same as Switch. I could see that too. But okay, we've talked about what we think the Switch might be becoming. What about when do you think it's coming? I know we disagree on this. When do you think it's shown off? Does it release this year? Does it not release this year? Is it even shown at all? Or is Nintendo setting themselves up again for another feast of games for Switch to where they buy themselves another year of I feel like the more they push it off, the more money they save, honestly. So it's like, who knows? So like, what do you
You
think,
know,
Ryan?
it's hard to predict what Nintendo's going to do. I see it one of two options. Either they do like they did with the Switch launch, and they do their announcements at the near the end of the year, and then do their big reveal launch in the next uh, the last end of fiscal year in March or beginning of the first fiscal year, like they did with Tears of the King. Breath of the Wild and the Switch. But I also see them like it's their MO to end either on a Kirby game or a Paper Mario game. So if they're doing 1,000 year door release, it's not uncommon for them to have the new system already out right around the time that is announced or that is finally rolled out. So like, we had Paper Mario come out, but it came out late and our new system was already out or it was almost out. And so like, we're probably going to see something like that where, this holiday season, we're going to see Switch 2 and it's going to be huge. It'd be a missed opportunity not to do that, hit that window and get all those sales, be the hot item of this year. Um, I think that just makes so much sense to me. For personally, that makes so much sense to me is to go for that window, and it fits with their MO of releasing a good an RPG game that might not be as popular, but also like you've got the new system to look forward to, and it's that game that nobody really picked up because it's the end of the life cycle of that particular system. I think that would fit with Nintendo's MO, but also like the Switch is kind of unprecedented and I don't know exactly what they're planning on doing there, but I know I am 100% confident that we're going to get an announcement this year. Whether it's early and they do a holiday release or it's later and they do a March release in 2025, like I feel like that is what's happening this year.
I I'm pretty sold that we will see it 100% this year. Like I don't think I think that is guaranteed. I really do. And I'm just seeing smoke. I'm starting to see smoke online.
Yeah,
I Sakurai just confirmed that he's been working on games all this time. Everyone kind of
Kid
thinks
Icarus.
well, maybe a lot of people are predicting the next Smash, and which is I know he always says he's done, and then he's back on for the
With
next one.
Miyazaki.
Yeah, so and now there's rumors of a new Mario game in the works, that's supposed to be a big deal, like kind of an evolution of 3D Mario like Odyssey was.
Mhm.
We always had the Donkey Kong rumors of a Donkey Kong game, and this is the Donkey Kong's 30th anniversary year, of country, and I really just think I'm seeing smoke. We're starting to see analysts say that they are hearing things about price points. Um, I'm convinced it is going to be shown off
I'll
this year.
I'll pay whatever
Oh
for
yeah,
price point. Yeah,
I just bought a
Nintendo's my
freaking
my
PS5. I
number
can
one entertainment thing, like hobby.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I will. Lindsay.
Even if it's not like, even if it has some drawbacks or isn't quite up to that price tag, like I'll still support Nintendo. I'm completely a Nintendo like apologist. It's like my number one like hobby. Like I will go in if it's like people who go out and get the latest iPhone because they're a big iPhone or like Apple fan
Yeah.
or like get the latest computer. Like that's me for Nintendo. So like no matter the price point, I'm going to be getting it. It's just got to save up for it and get it when it comes out. I'm already started saving honestly, but
Yeah, I'm more than prepared to have to put money down for it, and I honestly my wife thinks it's a little silly to I told her because we didn't know each other when I told her when the Switch came out, I told her I pre-ordered and I took the entire week off of work to get the
mhm.
Switch and play it, and she's just like, really? She's like, why did you
That's
take?
my vacation.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like this. I said because I wanted to do it and I love Nintendo. Like that's my baby. So,
Mhm.
um, if it comes out in the middle of the year or something like that, that'd be nice because I'm on summer break. But, um, you know, I think we're going to get an announcement for it the first half of the year. I do. I think we're going to get an announcement showing it off. This is my prediction. I'm no insider here, but I think we're going to get an announcement sometime between March and May. I think the E3 era time, The E3 zone, even though E3 doesn't exist, we'll call it the digital gaming summer events. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's when we get all the looks at what's happening for games coming for it. We get a better look at the system. That's what I think we're on. I think it's going to be a holiday release. I really do. I think it's going to be a holiday release. Um, Nintendo's going to show everybody off at the summer events, and everyone's going to be salivating at the mouth for these new
Yeah,
games.
that's what I
Oh,
want personally.
oh, we even had a rumor of there's rumors of the new Final Fantasy, the sequel to the 7 remake part 2, that's coming to the next Switch, the next
Hmm.
Nintendo, and which is just like, again, more smoke, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'd be happy with that. I wouldn't have to get a PS5, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're going to see even with the system, we're going to see a similar formula to the next Nintendo, like we did with Switch. Like, how we like ever since the Switch was so huge, we finally, all the third party developers finally decided to give us games that they've like held back on for years, and everyone's like, why would this sell? But everything sold like gangbusters. Like, you know what I mean? Like old Assassin Creeds, I don't know, all the big third party games that never came to Nintendo because of HD and limitations finally came to Switch. I mean, we just got back Batman Arkham Asylum trilogy, things like that. Um,
Yeah,
I think that we're going to see the same thing happen, but we're going to get the PS4 and the Xbox One generation games that skipped out on Nintendo. They're going to come to Nintendo now because I do believe it's going to be that. What's the what's the 4K? It's not 4K proper 4K, but it's the
the
ups,
DLSS
yeah, the
upscaling. Yeah,
upscaling. I think that is going to bring. I think that's going to bring a whole library of games that are going to come over to the new Nintendo, and that's going to flood the library again. I do. I think that will be the case, and um, I think Nintendo will make. I because I'm seeing it with PS5, Ryan. Like, I just bought Final Fantasy VII, which was originally a PS4 game, but they also have the same version. They have the PS5 version. It's the same game for PS5 coming, but it's upscaled and everything looks better for PS5.
hmm,
I think we're going to get the same thing for the Switch. I think
yeah,
games will come out natively, like if there's a new 3D Mario game this holiday season, I think the regular Switch will be able to get that game and play it. But then if you want the better looking, the more beefier defined version, you're going to have to get the new Switch or whatever. I think that's what's going to
yeah.
happen.
Are you now with
'Cause,
bigger Switch tech? We're we're going to be seeing more cartridge space needed, most likely, and we're probably going to see a price hike. Are you okay with $70 games on the new Switch?
I mean, I think the price. No, I'm not. I mean, will I pay it? Yeah, because I'm a fool. But I'm not okay. I think that the game price rising it's getting out of hand. It's going to get to the point where people are not going to pay. I mean, Sony's already talking about raising games up to $80. Eighty
Well, I mean,
dollars. That's
look at your the cost of production and the cost of everything has gone up. Like, groceries, things for living. Like
yes,
this is a luxury item. Yes, it helps with some mental health stuff, and yes, it helps like in a lot of ways at recreation and fun and tending to personal mental health care. But at the same time, it is a luxury item. It is something that's just fun.
yeah.
And so, like, do you think that they're justified in being able to do that? And do you think the price hike is necessary based on the climate and how expensive things are to make nowadays, plus how much they're paying their crews? Like, people are saying that AAA titles or AAA businesses are falling apart. Like, they have to lay off a bunch of people. AAA is starting to get impacted by this current industry where our climate is and where everything's so expensive. Like, we're not going to see so many like big AAA games the way that they used to be because of this. Do we see this whole thing? Like, where are they going to push that off on if they don't push it off on the consumer for pricing? Like, where are they going to get that money when it takes all that dev time? If it takes years and years and of development and like thousands and thousands of members to produce these AAA games, like where's that cost going to get picked up later?
I don't know. Maybe they stop making games so massively big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, like I got no
We
issue
also
with. I've
we
got
don't
no
want
issue with
like
playing a game that's 30, 40 hours. I think 30, 40 hours is the perfect game zone. I'm flooded. It takes up a lot of time to play. Um, it's full. You can pack so much meat in that, and you can get a good lengthy story. And that used to be the standard. I mean, 30, 40 games is what we used to do for the most part for a lot of the GameCube era and 64 era games. I think that's a sweet spot. And you know what? If they want to make big AAA games like say the next Spider-Man, whatever, hypothetically, Spider-Man 3, just make it a smaller game, and then look what look what Final Fantasy VII did. Maybe I because I'm on Final Fantasy VII kick, but I'm getting about 30 to 40 hours of gameplay out of this remake, and it's only part one. And now the sequel's coming out, and that's going to be another
mhm.
30, 40 hours, and that's part two. Divide it up. It's so massive. You can resell them all for $60 a piece, 70 if you want to, if that's becoming the new normal. And then you're making more money, and you're not, maybe you're not demanding too much out of your teams and stuff. I
Mhm.
don't know. Either that
And
or honestly, and I hate to say it, Ryan. Sorry to cut you off. Best Buy just showed that they're getting rid of all their physical media, and at this,
yeah,
and it's something that I would have said blasphemy years ago, but in a digital age, just like E3, maybe we are finally getting closer to the time to where it is just a digital download. I mean, I bought Jack for Christmas. He got, instead of buying him some like sweet game I thought he'd love for $60,
mhm,
Christmas morning we booted up the Switch. I gave him a $40 price tag, and he bought like 5 games, and they were all super cheap. And he's having way more fun with this like dumb boxing game that I would have never bought him than
mhm.
he had would have with like Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Way more fun. And he
I mean,
goes
that's
back
just
to
like
it. He's like, oh, he's just having a blast, like, and
mhm.
that's what I think that's more the future. And it's sad to accept, but I really do. I mean, that is a huge way to cut down costs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Um,
The next Jesse in our nostalgia chat, he said he would like a console that is digital only. And I mean, look,
and I wouldn't mind that.
my we just talked about it. My Metroid Prime copy is lost. I'm going to rebuy it eventually in just digital format. I mean, because I
Yeah.
still have the case and stuff. It's just the carts that's lost. So
Yeah. The scary thing is just like, what if the new system comes out and they don't support, the old games? Like, you got to buy them all again, or maybe they won't be available, or, what do you
well,
do there when you don't have a physical?
yeah, that's the fear, right? A
Yeah.
digital file should be able to just transfer over in today's day and age, but yeah, that's the
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. And Nintendo said that that's what they're doing with their account sharing, or like their accounts. Like, Nintendo account is what gets you all your games carried over. Like,
Yeah,
that's the idea. So
totes.
that's, it's a security thing, but also like, where does that fit in the grand scheme of what we actually get to have down the road? Like, there was that scare where Sony was pulling all of their, what was it? One of the streaming services was like, um, oh gosh, I don't know. One of the streaming services, you could like buy digital content and you have those movies, and they were talking about getting rid of that stuff, even though they spent money to get that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and so there was some concerns that they were going to lose that, and Sony walked it back and said, okay, well, you can keep your digital games or digital movies that you've paid for,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they were going to
That's
take it away.
No, you cannot do that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's
like
literally robbing the people of their stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, that's wild. I don't know. I mean, the hypotheticals of the future of gaming is kind of scary to think where things could go. Um, I don't, you know, I don't want anyone. It's the same idea with Prime. Like, I want my Metroid Prime for on my Switch. I'm not. I don't want to. I don't need to play it right now, even though I would, because I'm kind of on a Metroid kick internally. I don't need to play it right now. I just played it last year. I beat it 100%. It's an amazing game. Why I want to buy it though is because it bugs the crap out of me that I can't go boot it up if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I just want to go turn it on because I have it. And if we get to an age in gaming to where it's like I don't want to fear that, oh, the Mario sequel, the new Mario game is about to come out. So Nintendo removed this. Sony does this with their PlayStation Plus stuff, and it ticked me off. Um,
Hmm.
Spider-Man 2 came out all year long. When I first bought that, I could play the original Spider-Man game, Miles Morales. My son
Hmm.
was having a blast on it. Then he accidentally bought a $70 game of Spider-Man because instead of it being available to play, they just turned it into a purchase click on. He clicked on it like
Yeah.
he's a little boy. He clicked on it like he always does. He was 4 at the time, like he always did.
Hmm.
Try to play it, and then he accidentally it purchased everything and all the DLC. It's like 780 bucks. Like, what the heck was this? Because
Hmm.
they took it down. They took the game down because they want you to go buy it because the sequel's coming out,
Hmm.
which I think is shady as crap and not consumer friendly. Um, I don't want that
Right.
being a
It's
feature.
business.
It's still a little boy doesn't know that. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And
he
that's
can't
the
even
thing.
read.
Like, again, they need to be consumer friendly because that's their customer base. They're not making it for themselves to make money. I mean, yeah, but they're making it for the consumer to purchase. And if the consumer is getting screwed out, they're going to lose that business.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but as long as people are vocal about it and don't just curl over and take it, like, yes, if Nintendo charges something, like gives us a new Switch that doesn't have any new features and it's still like 450 bucks to 500, I'm going to say, hey, I'm not okay with that. So like I say, I will pay anything, but if Nintendo does something that's out of line for the consumer, then I'm not going to support that until that thing is fixed. Like if Nintendo were to pull something like that,
Yeah, for
you
no,
know, speak.
absolutely. I agree. Well, I mean, so the episode's starting to get long in the tooth, Ryan. Why don't we just kind of maybe just wrap up with some games you predict might come out releases here, whether it's for the new Switch or not. And then we can just kind of round out the show.
Um, so yeah, things that I think are going to come out. I fully expect us to get whatever the latest indie darling is on other systems. I
Yeah.
expect us to get that. And it's hard to say because anything that we don't get is likely just an indicator that it's going to be destined for the new Switch. So like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get announced, so then it'll come out for the new Switch. So it's hard to say at this point, like, oh yeah, it's definitely coming. I can say Nintendo is going to be announcing this game coming to a Nintendo console in the next year, which is like the safest thing you can say, really.
You're seeing
um,
that in the science only to back up everything we've been saying. All the new games that are coming out are leaving off the Switch logo on it, and it's like, oh, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatever, Steam. It's like, okay, where's the Nintendo version? Everything's been coming out because of what you just said. I guarantee you, they're being told, hush, hush. We're going to let you announce it later in the year when we announce
mhm.
our console.
Yeah, and that's something that they want to announce, like in a big, reveal trailer. Here's all the games that are coming. They certainly don't want to just, hint that it's going to come to the old system. Like everything's pointing to new announcement now, um, which awesome. I am ready for the new stuff, but also I could be content just continuing on my Switch. Like I've got plenty of games to play, and I'm sure there's a lot of games that they could put and port to the Switch, and I'd enjoy the heck out of them still.
For sure.
Um, but I would like to see whatever the new thing is. I don't have a fancy, up to date TV um, sitting in my living room ready to go. And so I don't even know if the current TV I have up in the bedroom that I got Draco is going to be up just enough for whatever we have coming up. But
Yeah.
I might have to make another TV purchase in here for the living room or something. But how
Keep
crazy is
joking.
that when it's a portable console? But
I,
but
I keep joking that with my wife, because I got a great TV a few years ago, and it's still amazing.
yeah,
It's just we got a bigger house with a bigger mantle, and to me, it looks like a tiny little fish on the wall. And I'm like, no, we need something to match the size of the mantle. We need to go up 10 inches. But she's just like, no, we don't.
No, you can build a frame around it to make it look good,
Yeah, I can
And
do
who
that.
knows, maybe that next house you get, it'll be too big for the mantle,
Oh,
downgrade.
bro, I know. Yeah, that'd be my problems. But I kind of already said my games already, but I do think that there is a new Mario like Odyssey like game coming next. It's going to be a 3D Mario game. I don't know if it's going to be the same vein as Mario Odyssey. I hope. I like sandbox Mario more than any other type of Mario, but um, everyone loves Galaxy, but it's a fine experience, but I have no desire to ever go back and replay them. I don't like.
Would you do a Galaxy 3?
No, I mean, yes, I'll play it. Yes, because it's new, but I don't want a Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
I want open sandbox. Let me mess around and be creative with how I achieve things. Galaxy is still it's a direct linear path on how you do everything. Like you still
Hmm.
you beat an enemy, it unlocks this one star that teleports you there. I want the 64 Odyssey feel. So um that's just me. But I do think some kind of Mario game is coming like that. And I'll back up what I said. I do think that all those Donkey Kong rumors we have heard in the past are finally going to happen. It's the 25th. I said the 30th anniversary. Is it 30? Yeah, 10, 20, yeah. It's the 30th anniversary of Donkey Kong Country this year.
Yeah.
And
Well,
King K. Rules back. I mean, the rumors with the Mario movie was that like Donkey Kong was also like the next thing that they made Donkey Kong be a star of the movie with Mario. They're trying
yeah.
and the theme parks releasing. I think this year is the year of Donkey Kong Country, and I do think we see something of that sorts. Heck, man, I would be happy with just a trilogy remake. Oh man,
Yeah.
that would be so beautiful. I would be so happy with that. But
Hmm.
those are the top two games I think for sure will happen this year. Or yeah, this year. Um, other than that, it's kind of a mystery. We'll see.
Hmm.
Any final thoughts?
Um,
Do you think Switch 2 is coming out this year?
I hope so. I want it to. I want it to come out holiday season.
Yeah.
Um, and that feeds into my prediction. Like, I think we're going to get Metroid Prime 4 with that.
Oh
That would be the
yes,
launch
yes.
title.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Prime 4
If
will
the
be a
Switch does
launch
come out
game.
this year, or the Switch 2 does come out this year, Prime 4 is going to be on that system launch day,
I
day and date.
agree.
So,
I agree entirely with that. So Prime 4, Donkey Kong Country, new game with King K. Rule, and a new
release window, I should say. Yeah.
sandbox Mario for the release window. Sign me up any day. That's better than the Switch launch. A million times
Yeah.
better. So, well, Ryan, tell everybody where they can find us, and we'll let them get going.
Sure thing, man. You can always, of course, listen to us on our podcast catchers, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora. We have some limited content on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook at Nintendo NOS, on our TikTok at Nintendo_NOS, on X Twitter at Nintendo_NOS, Instagram at Nintendo NOSIN. Shoot us an email at Nintendonostalgiain at gmail.com. You can also call us on our nostalgia hotline, share your memories, and show us some love at 317-969-5690. I did want to say sorry for anybody we haven't played your phone number or your voicemail on the air. We have a list of ones that we'll need to go back and review after I found out that we weren't getting notifications that we were getting them. So we'll definitely cover those.
Yeah, sorry about
those
that.
in the future. And if we do cover some of the ones we had already talked about, hey, we get another shout out. So. But yeah, we definitely hope to get that list of voicemails up to date since we haven't had that in a fair few months. So
Yeah,
I think that brings us to the end.
Go call in too. Tell us what you think about our predictions of a new Switch or what you want as well in game wise. So we'd love to.
I'd love to hear what you'd like to see and what you think is going to happen with that Switch, with what the new games are this year. Excited?
It's called Super Switch or something like that.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next week. Later, Preston.
See you later.